Right now on Good Morning America, first look, the ice storm crisis in the South. More National Guard troops deployed, people without power for days, no heat in the brutal cold, and now word that 3 children have drowned in a frozen pond.
New fallout after the shooting of VA nurse Alex Preddy by federal agents in Minneapolis. What we're learning about a change of leadership in the immigration crackdown.
TikTok now responding to accusations it downplayed the shooting of Alex Preddy in user feeds, what it blames for the issue.
The shocking video of a baby falling out of a moving car and into this road. The baby is okay. What's happening now to the mother?
An urgent new warning about the power of artificial intelligence. Why one CEO says humanity needs to wake up.
Plus, the star of a beloved Sandra Bullock movie now fighting for his life.
Actress Sydney Sweeney's stunt, climbing the Hollywood sign.
And a closer look at nurses, fed up with their working conditions, walking off the job.
From ABC News, this is Good Morning America, First Look.
Good Tuesday morning, everyone. I'm Sophie Flay.
And I'm Hannah Batal. We begin with a crisis in the South. Many people entering day 4 with no power after that historic ice storm.
More National Guard troops are being deployed as the region faces bitter cold temperatures. At least 30 deaths nationwide are now blamed on the storm, and sadly, that number is rising after the deaths of 3 children in Texas. Here's ABC's Lionel Moise.
This morning, the death toll rising after the winter storm that left behind 2,000 miles of freezing rain, snow, and ice. And now a heartbreaking reminder of how dangerous the conditions can be. The small city of Bonham, Texas, mourning the loss of 3 siblings who drowned in an icy pond. The school superintendent saying, "We are devastated by this unimaginable loss." Ice taking down huge trees across the South. Mississippi's governor now deploying 500 National Guardsmen.
It is possible that those numbers will go up.
In Oxford, utility crews were pulled back and a shelter in place was ordered over fears of falling trees. Tennessee also activating the National Guard and opening warming centers amid concerns about vulnerable people, including those who need portable oxygen tanks to breathe but have no electricity.
Oh no, oh no, oh no.
The concern for power crews, trees falling again after power has been restored.
Almost everyone here is without power. You can see this large tree. It came crashing down. It snapped and brought some power lines down with it.
Some areas have been without power since Saturday during this days-long stretch of bitter cold. On the roads, a big rig crashing in the slick conditions, bringing down this overhead sign. And back in Texas,
I'm driving around, hunt, making sure everybody is safe.
Volunteers with the United Cajun Navy bringing food, doing welfare checks, and looking for dangerous black ice on rural roads.
As somebody in Texas, we don't deal with ice. We don't deal with this, and it was me running, a few people, making sure that everyone was taken care of.
In Fort Worth, firefighters braving conditions to get this man to safety.
His safety, making sure he was good, that's the only thing I was thinking of. Let's get him to the top. He's on my shoulder crying.
The extreme weather also hurting the blood supply. The shortage is so bad, the Red Cross is now offering $20 gift cards to people who donate.
19 states saw more than a foot of snow in this storm, and now the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast are bracing for a possible coastal storm this coming weekend. Some homeowners, though, also bracing for a spike in heating costs. Natural gas prices just hit their highest level in 3 years. Hannah, Sophie?
Lionel, thank you. Now to the growing fallout after the shooting of Alex Preddy by border agents in Minneapolis. The Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, reportedly met with President Trump last night amid scrutiny over Noem's criticism of Preddy after Saturday's shooting. Sources tell the New York Times Noem's job is not in jeopardy, but ABC News has just learned there will be a staffing shakeup in Minnesota as soon as today.
Protests in Minneapolis growing rowdy last night ahead of a change in leadership of immigration operations after the death of VA nurse Alex Preddy. A crowd gathering outside the hotel where protesters believe Border Patrol Commander Gregory Bovino is staying. Sources say Bovino is set to leave Minneapolis today as part of a leadership shuffle. He's been the face of the immigration crackdown in Minnesota, seen recently tossing this smoke grenade into an unruly crowd. Bovino, just hours after the shooting of Alex Preddy by federal agents Saturday, made this claim without evidence.
This looks like a situation where an individual wanted to do maximum damage and massacre law enforcement.
Those comments were widely criticized. Sources say Bovino will now resume his duties in California. Stepping in for Bovino will be border czar Tom Homan. President Trump says Homan will meet with Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey today. Frey, after speaking with Trump, said the president agreed that the present situation cannot continue. Some federal agents will begin leaving the area tomorrow, and I will continue pushing for the rest involved in this operation to go. Trump also speaking with Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. Trump saying, "It was a very good call, and we actually seem to be on a similar wavelength. Crime is way down, but both Governor Walz and I want to make it better." A new poll shows 58% of American adults believe the federal immigration crackdown has gone too far. Now more Republicans are speaking out against the Trump administration's statements.
Immediately when an incident like this happens, they come out guns blazing that we took out a violent terrorist. Hooray. Escalating the rhetoric doesn't help, and it actually loses credibility.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem made this accusation Saturday.
This looks like a situation where an individual arrived at this scene to inflict maximum damage on individuals and to kill law enforcement.
Deputy White House Chief of Staff Stephen Miller called Preddy an assassin. ABC's Mary Bruce pressing the White House yesterday.
Secretary Noem said Alex Preddy committed an act of domestic terrorism. Stephen Miller labeled Preddy a domestic terrorist. Does the president agree with that?
Look, as I've said, I have not heard the president characterize Mr. Preddy in that way. However, I have heard the president say he wants to let the facts in the investigation lead itself.
Even vocal Trump supporter Texas Governor Greg Abbott is responding to the uproar, blaming local Democrats for not calming tensions in Minnesota, but also saying the White House needs to recalibrate its immigration operations.
At least 29 Republicans in Congress are now demanding a full investigation into Alex Preddy's shooting. A legal battle between federal and local officials over evidence in this case is ongoing.
Federal investigators are holding a public hearing today to reveal the cause of the mid-air collision near Washington last year. 67 people died in the crash between an American Airlines jet and an Army helicopter. The head of the NTSB says she fears safety recommendations won't be implemented. A key focus of the investigation was the close proximity of the helicopter's route to Reagan National Airport.
Years ago, that hot spot was identified and repeatedly tried to say that helicopter route needed to be moved, and nobody listened. It was like the ultimate in government bureaucracy. They were completely ignored.
An earlier hearing also revealed the chopper crew likely did not know their true altitude because of a faulty instrument.
A landmark trial starts today in Los Angeles, where a jury could decide whether social media companies have deliberately designed their platforms to get children addicted, harming their mental health. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio is here with the details. Nicole, good morning.
Hannah, good morning. For the first time, TikTok, YouTube, and Meta, the owner of Facebook and Instagram, they'll face a jury over claims their platforms are addictive. A 19-year-old from California brought this lawsuit claiming the companies hooked her beginning when she was just 10 years old with features like endless scrolling and frequent notifications. Now, she claims those features eventually caused a mental health crisis, leading to depression and suicidal thoughts. The tech companies are expected to argue that federal law protects them from being sued over content their users post. They claim that law shields them in this case. Now, they say factors offline are responsible for the plaintiff's personal struggles. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg is expected to take the stand at this trial, and one expert calls this lawsuit a critical test case that could open the floodgates for similar lawsuits. And Snapchat was named in the lawsuit but settled the case, and Hannah, we know those details were not disclosed.
Nicole, there's another big story here involving TikTok, the company there being accused of downplaying the shooting of Alex Preddy in Minneapolis over the weekend. People saying that story was not showing up in their feeds. What have you learned?
Right, and we asked TikTok about this. They're blaming a technical glitch caused by a power outage at one of the company's data centers over the weekend. TikTok says it's resolved most of the network issues, but it says people may still notice multiple bugs, slower load times, or timed out requests while the company sorts through the issue. But many people online raised concerns about possible censorship after the deal last week to sell TikTok's U.S. operations. Hannah.
Nicole, thank you. Meanwhile, overseas, France could soon ban social media for kids under 15. This proposal was just approved by the French Parliament. You might recall Australia recently banning social media for kids under 16.
Former Olympic athlete and alleged international drug trafficker Ryan Wedding has pleaded not guilty in his first court appearance. Wedding is facing drug and murder charges. He's now behind bars in California after being extradited from Mexico. His trial is scheduled for March.
Time now for your Tuesday forecast.
Good morning. Pressing the pause button on the big storms in the weather map. Some Great Lakes snows. It's bitterly cold, and that cold is reaching down to the south. Cold weather alerts Texas all the way up into Michigan, then back down into Florida. In fact, it feels like it's about 28 in Orlando this morning, and sub-zero wind chills from Little Rock all the way to New York, up to Detroit, where it feels like 10 below. Little bit of warming midweek. It's minimal. We get back to Arctic air later in the week, and then we'll be watching a potential storm come out of the Gulf. It's going to be a close call for the East Coast. We'll keep you posted. That's your forecast. I'm ABC News meteorologist Lee Goldberg.
Coming up, a new discovery from prehistoric Greece.
But first, the shocking video of a baby falling out of a moving car and into this road. What's happening now to the mother?
And the impact of another major strike by nurses, fed up with their working conditions. We're back with a mother's arrest in Southern California after her baby fell out of her moving vehicle and into a busy street. The woman was making a left turn when her 19-month-old fell out of the passenger side front door. She got the toddler back into the vehicle and kept driving, but police were alerted and arrested her for child abuse. We're told the baby is okay.
We're hearing from more nurses this morning who have walked off the job, demanding better working conditions. It comes during a troubling shortage of nurses nationwide.
This morning, tens of thousands of healthcare professionals begin day 2 of their strike, targeting hospitals and clinics on the West Coast. 31,000 nurses, pharmacists, physician assistants, and others walking off the job, demanding better pay and staffing in their dispute with Kaiser Permanente.
We are always understaffed, people waiting 2, 3, 4, 5 hours in the emergency room.
Picket lines at hospitals stretching across California and Hawaii. Some non-urgent and elective surgeries now being rescheduled.
We've been at the bargaining table for heading on a year. We're looking for fair wages that look at recruiting staff, retaining staff, access for patient care, workload.
Kaiser saying it's offered a 21% pay raise, calling it the company's strongest national bargaining offer ever, adding patients deserve our full attention, not prolonged disputes. Union members say they are eager to reach a deal.
We're giving up our paychecks. This is our 3rd time out. We don't want to be here. We're frankly tired of being out here. I don't feel like we should be out here.
We are the nurses, the mighty, mighty nurses.
Meanwhile, the largest ever nurses strike in New York City enters day 16 today. The union touting a deal on health benefits, but disputes over pay, staffing levels, and workplace safety remain.
The labor disputes come during a nationwide shortage of nurses. One report predicts 260,000 jobs for registered nurses will go unfilled this year.
What you're seeing might look like a simple stick and pieces of wood, but scientists say they're the oldest wooden tools ever discovered, dating back 430,000 years. They were uncovered in Greece. They were buried in sediment and preserved in a wet environment.
Fascinating. Coming up, an urgent warning about the power of artificial intelligence.
Also ahead, the star of a beloved Sandra Bullock movie now fighting for his life.
Big Mike, why were you going to the gym?
Because it's warm.
Do you have any place to stay tonight? Don't you dare lie.
That was actor Quentin Aaron playing former NFL lineman Michael Orr with Sandra Bullock in The Blind Side. 41-year-old Aaron is now on life support with a blood infection after reportedly collapsing in his home. His former manager says Aaron is making some progress.
A former mayoral candidate near San Francisco has been charged with killing his wife and making it look like suicide. Prosecutors say recently uncovered digital evidence helped link Anthony Leone to the 2015 death of his wife, Brenda. Their daughters pushed to revive the investigation. Leone once ran for mayor of Antioch. He could face life in prison if convicted.
An urgent new warning about artificial intelligence. One expert says humanity needs to wake up.
One of the biggest names in artificial intelligence is warning the technology is about to, quote, test who we are as a species. Dario Amodei, CEO of AI company Anthropic, warns the government and tech companies are underestimating the dangers of the bad actors using technology. He points to the 1995 sarin gas attack on the Tokyo subway that killed 14 people. The attack took a cult of scientists to execute. But Amode warns AI now gives that same power to anyone. He writes, the disturbed loner who wants to kill people but lacks the discipline or skill to do so will now be elevated to the capability level of a PhD virologist. The 43-year-old billionaire also issuing a warning that science fiction movies have made for years.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
That the technology could go rogue and begin to ignore human orders. He recently admitted that during testing, his own company's AIs have tried to manipulate humans.
In lab environments, sometimes the models will develop the intent to blackmail, the intent to deceive.
So what can be done? He says we need a tech embargo to stop the sale of chips and data centers to China. He's also pushing for strong transparency laws and heftier taxes on big AI companies.
As for the economy, he predicts AI will erase half of entry-level white-collar jobs in 5 years.
Coming up, a new kind of snowblower that is a total game changer.
But first, actress Sydney Sweeney's stunt climbing the Hollywood sign. Time to check the pulse. We begin with a publicity stunt that may have landed Sydney Sweeney on the wrong side of the law.
It's definitely catching people's attention. The actress posted video of herself draping dozens of bras on the Hollywood sign, apparently making a promotional video for her new line of lingerie. Well, now she could be facing possible trespassing or even vandalism charges.
The Hollywood Chamber of Commerce says Sweeney did not get permission to use the sign. Next, an admittedly big Super Bowl commercial spoiler.
Yeah, the new Budweiser ad is out featuring what the company calls two American icons. The ad tells the story of that Budweiser Clydesdale and its bald eagle friend, all to the music of Lynyrd Skynyrd's Free Bird. I always love how big Budweiser goes for Super Bowl commercials.
Oh, yeah.
Next to some news that's surprising football fans. Browns quarterback Shedeur Sanders going to the Pro Bowl.
Critics say his credentials are lacking. He's replacing Drake May, who's going to the Super Bowl. Sanders threw 7 touchdowns and 10 interceptions during his 7 starts this year. Critics saying that's not exactly Pro Bowl quality. Next, working smarter, not harder during the snowstorm.
So this New Jersey homeowner put his robot snowblower to work. He says it took about 30 hours to assemble and program it for his property.
He calls it time well spent after the robot worked through the storm, even recharging itself several times. And finally, 2 famous bald eagles in Southern California have been at it again.
Oh yeah, that means the arrivals for Jackie and Shadow. Jackie has laid 2 eggs in their nest above Big Bear Lake. We'll know in the next few days if a third will arrive.
They'll keep the eggs warm until their babies hatch, usually in about 38 days or so. So cute! Top headlines next. Checking more top stories. More than 30 deaths are blamed on the snow and ice storm that hit 19 states. 3 young siblings drowned in a frozen pond in Texas. Ice bringing down trees in Mississippi and Tennessee. 540,000 power outages are reported.
Another attack by Russia overnight has left 80% of Ukraine's second largest city without power in the bitter cold. The aerial attack hitting apartment buildings, even a school.
A U.S. aircraft carrier has landed in the Middle East after President Trump warned of new military action against Iran for cracking down on protesters. Trump now says Iran wants to make a deal.
Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino is expected to leave Minneapolis today, and border czar Tom Homan is taking over the immigration crackdown after the shooting death of Alex Preddy. President Trump is facing backlash after officials describe Preddy as the aggressor and a domestic terrorist.
Today's weather, bitter cold from New England to the plains to the deep south. The only snow is on the map around the Great Lakes.
And finally, one man truly dedicated to his job.
Here's Danny New.
While Maryland was getting hit with nearly a foot of snow on Sunday, that didn't stop volunteer dog walker Darren Jensen from sticking to his daily routine at the county shelter. And when I say daily,
you mean 5 days a week?
That's not every morning. 7 days a week.
Every morning at 7 a.m., the 63-year-old insurance salesman spends about 2 hours at the Anne Arundel County Animal Shelter, walking 4 to 6 dogs before starting his workday.
My catchphrase when I talk to people is, it's cheaper than therapy.
Darren's relationship with the shelter started in 2015, right around when he adopted Charlie from there. Charlie had been returned twice before and went on to consume 4 of Darren's couches in their first 2 years together.
Well, good thing you're made of money.
Or good thing I don't care if I have a torn up sofa.
However, Darren never gave up on Charlie. And that capacity for patience translated to a now elevated role at the shelter. In fact, Director Claudia Rolls says Darren is trusted with some of their most sensitive cases.
There are some dogs, Darren's the only volunteer approved to walk them. So he helps us get to know some of our toughest dogs.
Now, if you're wondering, Darren says his ability to win over dogs who may be a little more scared comes from two factors. One, he usually has string cheese in his pocket. And two, he's there every day so the dogs can get used to him. And by the way, he has no problem participating in a little snow removal if that's what it takes to walk his dogs.
The reward is worth all of it. It's an amazing experience.
So, guys, on Christmas, Darren says his family had no problem waiting until 10 a.m. to start their festivities so Darren can make sure to go walk some dogs first.
He's dedicated. That's your Good Morning America First Look.